how many downloads of Jim and Bill It's Another Day podcast?
Today, the podcast show has fetched 400 million downloads since its start, and an average of 350,000 downloads per episode, about 3.9 million downloads per week.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the Weekend Update. I'm Jim Harrington.
And I am Bill Nye. Before we get any further into the show, wait, we just started the show.
Yes, we
I'm
did.
going to have a sip of some right side coffee.
Not just any kind of right side coffee, Jim and Bill's right side coffee. Do you just bite
That's
your
right.
tongue?
I was going to try to gargle with it, and I spit it all over myself.
Well,
That's what I get for
it's
trying
not a
to be
mouthwash,
creative,
Bill. It's coffee. Anyway, right side coffee. It's available in our right side shop, which is rightsideshop.com, which is where you find a bunch of other stuff, too. We have hats and cups and sweatshirts and T-shirts and things like that. But the anchor item is Jim and Bill's right side coffee. It's made with the finest blend of the world's greatest coffee beans. It's a medium roast, and of course we have a medium decaf roast if you can't have the high test. And I think you don't take our word for it. Give it a try for yourself. Go to the rightsideshop.com and you'll see it. It's very easy to get. You have to have a credit card. And you'll order a package of it, and they'll have it in a day or two. You'll have it in a few days. I don't want to
I was going to say,
a day or two.
Your mail?
Well, if you live next to the if you live next to the warehouse, they'll bring it over to your house. But that's about it. No,
they toss it. They call you, then you say, "Hey, catch!"
Yeah, exactly. It usually takes a few days to get to your house, but it's well worth the wait. How's that? And of course, Bill, we are the only coffee company in the world that has Juan, Jose, and the Border Crossers of international fame do our jingle. And, again, we're, 9 days away from the inauguration. So
what else is going to go wrong in the world in 9 damn days?
Hold that thought for a second, because Juan, Jose, and the Border Crossers have to sing. I mean, there are priorities, guys.
Wake up on the right side with Right Side Coffee.
All right. Good job, guys. Good job. All right. Now go for Nita Taco and you'll be fine. Well,
they actually have a bootleg recording. When they were crossing the border,
yeah,
there were thousands of illegals there that sang like a choir right side coffee.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah. And I'd love to get my hands on that. That would be worth a couple.
That must have been quite a challenge to record.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, how do you? Well, they all had cell phones.
Oh, okay.
They were government phones, and they were okay.
They all turned on their cell phone.
We make fun of Juan, Jose and the Border Crossers, but they're good guys, and
they are. Yes.
Actually, they came over really legitimately. But
how did they come over legitimately? They swam.
Well, yeah, but there was a rowboat with a lifeguard in it, so they were okay.
Good. You can tell us the weekend, folks. You asked a question. What's next? There's something up with the LAPD, all right?
There's something up with the whole thing. There's something afoul.
They find this guy yesterday.
Right, with the torch.
He has a blowtorch.
He was out riding a bike.
Yeah.
And one guy...
Yeah. Well, I'm going to play for you the cut. Listen, it's only 35 seconds. Listen.
But they responded. They interviewed this suspect. After the interview and additional investigative steps, looking at some additional evidence that was present, they made the determination that there was not enough probable cause to arrest this person on arson or suspicion of arson, and therefore this person was arrested on a felony probation violation. This investigation is ongoing, however, and I'd like to thank those community members that were involved in this in helping us bring this person to our attention, and so we can have an ongoing investigation.
Unbelievable. This is amazing. They find him with a blowtorch and he's lighting fires, but they haven't got enough to charge him.
I mean, the guy that stopped him saw he was up to something to detain him, and I zoomed in, to sit there and see the guy. And, I don't want to sit there because anything I say is going to sound racist or anything like that, but he looked like he was Venezuelan.
Well, yeah, they someone who was not in the police force said they think he was illegal.
Well, I do too. And I wonder, look, L.A. has always been prone to fires and high winds. This is nothing new. And neglect and stupidity by a woke, system there led to part of the disaster. But even with all the spreading, it's never been like this. The worst in history. The city is gone. Landmarks are gone. They had 320,000 people leave L.A. just last year, but the rich and the people that have money that can sustain the wokeness and the high taxes, they didn't care. Now they care. They lost their homes, and the system was not able to put out anything. It collapsed.
U-Haul does a survey every year of states. Which state have the most people relocating out of state? The number one state for relocation out of state, meaning leaving the state, was California, out of all 50 states.
Yeah, and it's a big time leaving the state. Now, let me ask you a question here. You've probably lived like I have, like I went through Hurricane Frederick. I've gone through public disasters. Yeah, and they last a few days, and they're devastating. Don't get me wrong. But like when I was down in Mobile for Hurricane Frederick, and I was out on the front with a microphone, when there's a tornado going over my head, I'm going, where's that train coming? Oh, but either way, the one thing they did the next morning after this thing passed through, they declared martial law. That means you stay put. You're either in a shelter, or if you're at your home and can sustain, you stay there. There's a curfew.
Right.
You can get out during the day to get what you need and do what you got to do. But sundown, 6 p.m., you better be in your house. Otherwise, you're going to be arrested.
Right. They did that in L.A. They did that in
Did they do it?
Yeah, they did it. Yep.
Because I haven't heard about it, and I was asking, why didn't they do that from the get-go?
They just did it like a day or two ago, Bill. You would have thought they did it right away. I know. I agree. They did it.
Because if you got bastards out there setting fires, the wind's blowing this way, the fire starts this way, the wind's got a swath. It doesn't go, well, I'm going to go to the left. No, I'm going over to the right. Okay, I'm going to go back behind me.
By the way, Bill, what I don't understand,
there's a pattern.
I played that cut from the LAPD, and what I don't understand is I saw video of these characters setting the fires.
Mm-hmm.
What's the problem? They weren't lighting Christmas candles.
That's number one. And did they not say that he had some kind of record?
Oh, they kept him, violation of probation. They did hold him for violation of probation.
I'm sorry, right there, that is enough, let alone the blowtorch that you don't understand why he had it. And somebody said, I saw him setting the fire, but he's violation of probation. He's out in a town that's got martial law and curfew, and he's looking suspicious. I would have kept him detained, because he might sit there and say, he might get tired of being detained and go, I got 24 other friends out there with blowtorches. Really? You want to go easier on yourself? Help us out.
Well, that's just one thing that's a little weird about this whole situation.
There's a lot of stuff that's weird.
Pacific Palisades has a reservoir. It holds 117 million gallons of water normally, except the morons in charge of that reservoir drained it.
Right.
Now, mind you, like Bill just said, the winds are not, they're not out of the norm. They're predictable. They happen on a regular yearly basis. The Santa Ana winds, it's to be expected this time of year. So you would have thought the people in government would have said, we really should have that reservoir filled with water just in case we have an emergency. But these fatheads, by the way, Gavin Newsom, he bragged recently about he was responsible for destroying, I believe, 3 dams in the California area. Dams that were filled with water that they could have tapped for use in this fire. This fathead, they did this stuff. They rerouted the water from the north into the ocean because of an endangered smelt. I guess smelt is a small fish. An endangered smelt. Now, mind you, we've lost, I think, 10 or 11 people in these fires so far. So you would think that would mean more to Gavin. I haven't got the audio. Maybe you saw it on TV. One of the residents whose parents lost everything, and this lady was beside herself. She saw Newsom walking around one of the neighborhoods with all this devastation around, and she went running up to him. Did you see that? She goes running up to Newsom, and she says, "Wait, Mr. Governor Newsom, and she starts to saying, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do? This is devastating." "Yes, it is devastating. I'm on the phone right now with the president," he said. She says to him, "Can you put it on a speakerphone so I can hear him and I can add my 2 cents," or something along those lines. He said, well, we're on hold right now.
He's a lying bastard.
He is a lying Sacagawea, all right? This guy is unbelievable.
You know what else he did? He sat there because he was bragging about Biden coming out and all that stuff. Trump ought to get off his ass and come on out here. Well, you know who I bet you will go out there if they can get clearance to land the plane?
Yeah.
Is Trump. But I bet you he'll come in. Elon Musk is already helping out with Starlink because they have no communication. He goes, bring the birds in upstairs. Let's help them communicate down there. Good thing of Elon Musk. He didn't have to do that. He's not even officially in charge of anything until Trump takes in. But he's going, I got resources. I can help out. I don't care what you say about me.
The thing
I'm
about
gonna help you.
The thing about Trump, though, is he's a private citizen right now. No matter what
and he's a builder.
Yeah, but the thing is, when he says Trump should be here, well, if Trump went out there right now, you know what they would say? He's in the way. He's a distraction. He's causing problems by being here. They would.
Gavin Newsom, number one, he doesn't live in L.A. He's the governor. Where's the governor's mansion? Sacramento.
Yeah. Yep.
So, he might have a place there that's gone. I don't know, but he doesn't see. Seems like he's had a fresh shave every morning. He looks good. His clothes are not wrinkled.
His hair gel is nice and shiny. And
everything is fine for him. But he is doing one thing.
What's that?
He's sick and tired of this mess. He's calling for an investigation. I say that they should start at the top of the ladder and start with him first and his stupidity, because he is ultimately in charge of the entire state. Yes,
they made a big thing the left did yesterday. He was on a conference video call with the president, and the big problem he sees right now is the misinformation being disseminated about what the people and what he was more concerned on this call about how he looked to the public during this crisis than just to say, look, we're here to help these people. We're here to fix this problem as best we can. No, he didn't do that. He talked about misinformation and the wrong message being sent. And he's talking to Joe Biden, who's like talking to a numbskull. But anyway.
America has seen it. The world has seen it. America should be embarrassed. We have always been there with a helping hand for everyone. Now, people all over the world, they realized the emperor has no clothes. We've been stripped naked, and
you made a good point.
Bad.
You made a very good point. Where the hell is the foreign aid for these people in Southern California coming from? Have we seen England, France, Germany, Spain, Mexico, Ukraine, anybody offer to send supplies and clothing and money to help put people back on their feet here? No. And that never happens here.
I was watching news from India, and they were talking about it. And, the world's got to pray for America and Los Angeles. And I thought, boy, what a turn of the table there. The world having to pray for us and our recovery because it's so bad. And the people that they were talking to are saying, it's not over yet.
But what do we say?
This is going to take years.
If there's a crisis in England, in India, we send ships with supplies, we send money, we send doctors and nurses and stuff like that. We're not getting any of that from other countries here.
Well, China's going to help out.
What are they going to
They've got a ship. They got some ships now that look like our AI ships.
Yeah, we have. I wanted to get to that, but I wanted to play Mel Gibson before we.
Before we, Mel. He's a good guy.
Yeah, before we step
be on the show.
Yeah, he should be on the show. Mel, if you're listening, we'd like to have you on the show. He was talking with Elizabeth Vargas, who used to be on ABC, but now she's over at News Nation. And they were talking. He had a home. I say had a home because the poor guy, he lost it. But the guy's an amazing... he's
a great actor. You know, I didn't know he was a conservative until a few years ago. And you see everything he's done.
He's also a very moral Christian guy. Always had probably. Yeah. Look at the guy's
Passion of Christ.
The guy's in. Movie. He's doing a follow-up called Resurrection, which they say is going to be as good. He's been doing all the pre-production and getting the script together, and I guess he's booked some of the cast. I think Jim Caviezel, who played Christ in The Passion, is going to play Christ in this one. He's another great actor, but I find it amazing that his calmness after all of this devastation. Anyway, here's Mel Gibson talking to Elizabeth Vargas.
One belonged to award-winning, Oscar-winning director, actor, producer Mel Gibson. And Mel joins me by phone right now. Mel, I am so sorry to be talking to you under these circumstances. I'm looking at video of the ruins of what was once your home. I got to ask you how you're doing.
I'm doing good. You know, it's just a thing. But, you know, it is obviously, it's kind of devastating. It's emotional. You know, you lived there for a long time, and you had all your stuff. You remember George Carlin talking about your stuff? I had my stuff there, and it's all like, I've been relieved from the burden of my stuff because it's all in cinders.
Yeah. Where were you, Mel, when the fire broke out?
Gosh, I was in Austin. I was doing the Rogan podcast, you know, and I was kind of ill at ease while we were talking because I knew my neighborhood was on fire. So I thought, I wonder if my place is still there. But when I got home, sure enough, it wasn't there. I went home and I said to myself, well, at least I haven't got any of those pesky plumbing problems anymore.
When did you drive up? Did you take this video that we're looking at?
Yeah, I was taking some of it. Rose took some, and, the chickens survived. It was amazing.
That is.
The chickens poop, and they were fine. So he gave them some grain and some water, and they're happy and laying eggs and stuff. So there you go. They weren't roast chickens.
And where was Rose during all of this? Was she with you in Austin, or?
No, we evacuated. See, I left on a plane, and the winds were picking up, and I went to Austin, and of course, while I was gone, whenever I leave town, a fire breaks out. It was the same last month. I mean, it was the same thing. The flames were like 200 yards away from my house. But this time they came from the other direction and really nailed me. And I have never seen a place so perfectly burnt. It is like, it's kind of, you could put it in an urn, you know?
Yeah, there is nothing there. What about the rest of the neighborhood, Mel? Your neighbors, the people you've lived next to for quite some time, how did they fare?
Yeah, some of the neighbors really got it hard. I know, Ed Harris, the actor who lives down the street, I think his place is gone, and many of my friends up and down the street. And it was kind of random. It wasn't every place, but it was quite a few places. There was a dozen places or so that were just non-existent. I mean, nothing but a chimney and a few roof tiles, and you dare not walk around for the nails and the whole deal. The vehicles were gone, everything. It was completely toasted. I've never seen such a complete burn. It's like someone did it on purpose to really destroy every aspect of it.
And when you hear that this fire is 0% contained, they have still not contained this. They're calling it the worst fire in LA history.
Well, those winds were something else. I mean, when have we had winds like that? I mean, that's crazy. And, I guess the water wasn't doing what it should, and, the forests weren't cleared like they should have been. So, I don't know. It's the perfect confluence, the perfect storm of the perfect firestorm. I mean, my place looked like Dresden.
Yeah, it does look like Dresden. What are you going to do now? Are you going to try and rebuild there?
I don't know. I mean, I'll clean it up because it's toxic. And, of course, the land is beautiful. It's a beautiful ocean view. Hey, anybody want to buy some land? 5 acres. Yeah.
Yeah, get it cheap. Ha ha. I don't think so.
Yeah. So it's, we'll go through the usual motions, I guess. There's some kind of insurance, maybe. I can't even tell you anymore. But, it's emotional. And, I lived there for about 14, 15 years. So it was home to me. And I had a lot of personal things there that, I can't get back. And
like what?
But all kinds of stuff, everything from photographs to files to, just personal things that I had from over the years and clothing. And, it's pretty cool stuff, but, hey, that can all be replaced. These are only things. And the good news is that, those in my family and those I love are all well, and we're all happy and healthy and out of harm's way. And that's all I care about, really.
Mel, thanks so much for watching.
That's really a great interview. That's Elizabeth Vargas and an interview with Mel Gibson. It was interesting. He mentioned Dresden, and I thought I was being unique. Yesterday in the program, we started it off by doing a talk about the firebombing of Dresden and how it looked like that. And so, Mel, if you listen to our show, and maybe if it was a thought starter,
go back a day.
We appreciate you being out there. You never know.
Look, he's right, though. It's just stuff.
Yep.
Like Carlin said, I remember the bit well. And you can replace stuff. And, it might be an old heirloom. It might be a picture that you can't retake. But it's in your mind, your memory. As long as you got your health, and your family, you've got everything that you need to move forward. Now, I don't want to use the word lucky, but I don't know how to phrase it, in the fact that, because you're not lucky, he lost everything that he owned.
Oh, the things he probably had old scripts that he had, maybe that are gone.
But unlike other people, he had this mansion, beautiful location, beautiful view.
Yeah,
but it was paid for because he worked hard. He took his skills. He earned it. Besides skill, he earned it because. There's a certain amount of luck too, but he took his skills beyond the Hollywood oligarchs that sit there and try to manipulate.
Not only that, Bill, with all of his fame, with all of the things that God gave him, I don't think he ever really lost track of God. And that's kind of an amazing thing when you're surrounded by so much. Decadence, which you can be surrounded by in that environment in Hollywood.
Well, you know what it is, and I heard it in his voice. It's a test of faith.
Yeah.
And he stands strong. So that's a good thing. I mean, Mel's a good guy, and I feel bad for him. But the thing that he said, the fires happen, but usually it's from this side, but it came from that side. And I've never seen something so well burnt, down to just, it looked like it was incinerated to be put in an urn.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, most of the homes, row after row after row of homes, all like that. And I've been through devastation where tornadoes came through, but, there's a few houses here where, it's spotty. Not like that. That looks like a bomb went off.
You know what they had out there, which was similar to Dresden? This situation, I think it's called firestorms, where it's not just the fire, that the winds whip up so much that the way it spreads is out of the norm. Do you know what I'm saying? It spreads with incredible speed.
But it goes in a direction, and some of this stuff is spread outside of the main channel. You can kind of predict where things are going. You couldn't with this because how many different fires do they have going? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
This is why, Bill, getting back to the top of the show, I think we got some, maybe it didn't start with arsonists, but I think that there are people who are taking advantage of this. And, the video that I talked about, Bill, showed guys lighting fires.
Well, here's what...
I don't know why the LAPD is having a problem saying, it is an arson.
Well, there might be this, and that is that what just happened to L.A. Pretty much, you've seen towns that were on a map, and then 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, they're gone because everything, nature dried up the lakes or whatever, and the people moved away. Well, they got burned out. L.A. is pretty much, it's not totally wiped out, but people are moving out. They're going to move out. and it's wiped. I mean, all these landmarks are gone, and I'm sitting there thinking, we didn't have, we had bad management, and that's evident all over the country.
Oh my
If
God.
it's bad there, it's everywhere. We didn't have the fire structure, the pipes, the water, anything. If this happened in Chicago, is this not a telegraph to people that want to bring down America? Wow, we can just go set fires and they can't put it out.
Absolutely.
We don't have to drop a bomb. Give this guy a bicycle and a blowtorch, give 20 guys that. Well, there goes New Orleans, there goes Houston, there goes Chicago.
This morning I heard that they got big problems with smoke in L.A., and a lot of people are leaving the city because they can't breathe.
Well, it's going to get in the jet stream. It's already causing respiratory problems there. But, the fire incinerated so well with the winds and everything. But could there have been something, everybody, just a few weeks ago, there were people that were all over the country. Their eyes were burning. They were getting nauseated. There was a fog in the air, and it was widespread.
Right.
Could some kind of accelerant been in the airstream?
Well, that's an interesting thought.
It's a speculation.
Well, no, I don't know that you've heard this or not, but there's been a lot of talk from a lot of people about some kind of a greenish fog that they're breathing in. Have you heard about this?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Who's to say that isn't an accelerant of some kind?
Well, okay, let's say that you have just a small little patrol boat that you wouldn't normally see on the radar that's pumping this crap into the air, gets into that jet stream, and now all it takes is, a spark. Somebody with a cigarette that throws on the ground. It's enough to.
What if they're drones?
Or drones. It could take anything, could spark it. And boom, they found a new way to take, and we aren't capable. If what we need to do is we need to look at all of our infrastructure, small and large, and go, do you have the resources to put out something of this magnitude? If you don't, we got to do some serious fixing of things, because if a fire can take us out, imagine what a bomb would do.
We are in such a precarious situation right now. It's I've never seen our country so close to destruction. We have got a situation that I heard one of the people who's going to be advising Trump saying it's not one thing that Trump has to do when he gets into office. It's a litany of things that he has to fix when he gets into office, and he has to address them all almost at the same time to fix our country. Biden has this guy. Biden would screw up a one-car parade. And by the way, I haven't got the audio, but he said yesterday in an interview, I think I could have beaten Trump. I think Kamala could have beaten Trump. Of course, no one told Joe, I guess, that Kamala lost to Trump, so he was wrong on that point. But he still, in his mind, thinks that he could have beaten Trump. I think he thinks he won in 2020.
I believe he does. And you know what? I got news for you, Joe. You lost in both, but the steal was in place, but it wasn't in place good enough for how they came back and answered the steal from the last time, because that's what they did. They answered the steal.
So, Bill, last night, I haven't got the audio. If I can find it, I'll play it on Monday's show. Dr. Stephen Greer was on with Rob Finnerty on Newsmax yesterday, and he's an interesting character, whether you believe in extraterrestrials or other beings from other planets. If you may think it's a lot of hooey, or you may think it's real. He obviously believes it's real. He says he has proof, and he's very close to the situation. And he said on Finnerty's program last night that we're going to know sometime this week a major announcement is going to happen concerning those drones in New Jersey and what is really going on, and it's going to shock the world. And he implied in the interview that we have been, no, he didn't imply, he definitely said that we have been visited, we've been visited by people from other worlds, other planets. I'm just telling you what he said. He said as many as 60 different variants. And he said they all come with peace. And people say, well, what if they get angry? He said if they got angry, would be a cinder in orbit because they're that far ahead of us as far as technology goes.
They come in peace. It's interesting. And I think back to an old, whatever it was, Twilight Zone or something like that, where the aliens came and they came in peace, and they had this book. Turned out it was a recipe book.
Yeah, I think it was that.
We were their food.
Was that Twilight Zone or Outer Limits? One of those.
Outer
programs.
Limits.
Yeah.
That might have been it. Yeah. The recipe or whatever it was. It was a recipe book.
Yes.
We
want to have you over for dinner.
Yeah. No, I mean, we really want to have you over for dinner.
Exactly.
You're the main course. And everybody's getting on the ship, and then they realize what's for lunch? You.
Well, the thing is, we gotta find out what's going on with these drones because they're still up there. People don't know this. They're still out there. They're still flying around. They spotted one over Yardley, Pennsylvania, which is not far from Trenton, New Jersey, and people have said, by the way, in this interview, now they've spotted them in other parts of the world. That's the thing that drove Rob Finity nuts. I guess Finity is he believes that there are extraterrestrials. He said,
if you want to,
he said if it was just over New Jersey, he said that would be one thing. But now he said they're sighting him in England, in India, in all these different parts of the world. Something is going on. Good.
Well, I was going to say, if you go with that theory, and I'm not poo-pooing it, I'm not, giving credence to it, you've got to figure it out in your own mind. But if they're all over the world now, and just as massive as they were here, if it's not ours or ours in coordination with something else, then there's a mothership somewhere. A place.
You know what else he said? Greer said, which I thought was interesting. He said, all the stuff you see on Star Trek and stuff like that, and all of it, but a lot of it that you think is just amazing technology, he said we've had most of that for decades. We've had the ability to do a lot of the stuff that we think we can't do. We supposedly, he said, have mastered anti-gravity.
I don't buy that. They used to talk about the ion engines on the original Star Trek series.
Right.
And a guy that we both worked with in Pittsburgh, he's long gone, but his brother actually worked in the program in, I believe, down in...
Skunk Works.
No, he didn't work out there. On the East Coast. He worked close to D.C., and he worked on the I said Ian, they're ion engines.
Right.
That they had that, and that's been 20 years.
Well, he implied that a lot of the ships that we see that make these incredible moves, and we think they can't do that. We haven't got the ability. He said, no, we do have the ability to do it. We're being lied to by the governments, our government and other governments. I mean, they have kept, don't think that they, for 1 second, are open about everything they're doing. They have so much in the can. You and I have talked about this, and I do believe this because I've seen interviews with people who have been in these tunnels, but supposedly there are underground highways that travel quite the distance, if not coast to coast, pretty darn far, that we have no knowledge of. Have you ever wondered when you see in the budget they will have billions of dollars for road improvement, but yet you never see any improvement on the surface? Well,
or you pay $78,000 for a hammer.
Yeah.
And that's in the budget that way.
Yep.
So there's dark money that goes somewhere that you don't know where it goes.
Yeah, the hammer they bought is only $10. So there's all, where's the rest of it go?
Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a hammer. I mean, $78,000. I want one because it's got to do some great stuff.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it floats over and hammers the nail for you. And you just sit there and you think about it, and it does it.
The other thing, the thing I was thinking about these fires, you would think there'd be, by now we would have thought of some other ways of putting these massive fires out. I haven't seen any, you would think they would have these massive water cannons that really do a number. I mean, they're not far from the ocean. Why can't they just pump it up the hill from the ocean, into the areas?
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, we can salt clouds. We can create rain. We could probably stop wind by doing flyovers at a high altitude and salting. Could they not sit there and diminish the winds or create rain that would come in and blanket rain and at least give them a heads up jump start?
That's a good question. A lot of people think we can manipulate weather right now. There's a lot of speculation. A lot of people talk about it. If they can do it, maybe now would be a good time to do it for some good. Put some water on those fires in Southern California, unless, and this is hard to fathom because we're decent people, unless there's an evil group of people who want this to happen.
Well, you got to wonder about that. And, we talked about ocean water, desalination, and whatnot. You can't use the water because of different things, but I'm sure somewhere close by within decent flight time, there are big reservoirs where you can get the planes that can swoop down, suck up the water, and take it over.
They're using them. I saw them. Yeah, they have a big DC-10. Have you seen that one? The big DC-10.
Yeah, there's a big plane.
The problem they have is it's so big it takes a while to fill it up. It
takes a while to fill it up, and that's a dangerous run for them to go. Okay, it's like you're not landing on the water; you're scooping things up. It's like it's trying to dig a ditch with a plane. It's like okay.
Now they have these smaller planes which are faster. They can make more runs. They're fixed wing prop planes, yellow. They are very, very amazing airplanes. And these pilots, folks, they risk their life every time they do a run. I don't know whether you're aware of what it's like, but you fly into an area where there's a lot of smoke and flames. You're going to have heat variance. You're risking your life every time.
Look, I'm not a scientist, and don't even pretend to be. Mm-hmm. But these areas where the fires are, all right, or where it's heading, they evacuate the people. So could they sit there in that path of the fire and say, okay, all human life is out of here, and is there a way that they could sit there and cause some kind of percussion that momentarily sucks the wind out?
I thought of that. You and I are on the same page. Yesterday, I was thinking, couldn't they drop some kind of a bomb that, like you said, sucks out the oxygen and takes the oxygen from the flame and put these fires out? But then I thought, a lot of them would probably spark stuff too. The problem they have in the residential areas, and I saw this in some of the reports, is that some of these houses that have been burned out were fueled by natural gas. And believe it or not, some of these natural gas lines are still lit. The house is gone, and you'll see a pipe sticking out in the middle, and there'll be a flame coming out of it because I guess they haven't shut off the gas in those areas.
Well, yeah, and I would say why not? Because at some point in time, the flame could suck up and go inside.
Well, they maybe they don't care. I don't know, but
look, I hate to say it, far be it for me to sit there and do something, but it's so devastating. I mean, they've always had this problem, but the all of a sudden they can't quell it, fight it, do anything, and they let the water. They drained the water. The pipes haven't been kept up. The fire hydrants, they lost the personnel. And it's almost as if it's intentional.
Don't they have extinguishers that are like hand grenades? Where you can literally throw it on a fire and it will explode and it'll spread like a suppressant, a fire suppressant on. I've seen these things.
Well, oil wells, when they're burning, they go in with dynamite, and when it blows up, it sucks the air out.
Yeah.
And that kills the fire. Can we not do something along the same lines?
Maybe they're afraid. Maybe what they're trying to do is they're trying to save the land. Maybe
There's
they figure
nothing to save. And as far as the land goes, all right, you blow a 3-foot hole. You got a bulldozer when it's all done. You're going to be scraping everything up anyway and re-landscaping an entire city. I think that's the
Hey,
least
Bill,
of
but
their worries.
we're trying to think of creative ways of stopping these fires, and you're dealing with a management out there, a government out there that are the biggest group of numbskulls I have ever seen in recent
They're trying
history.
to figure out how to shift the blame away from them. Newsom to say, "Well, we're doing an investigation." Newsom, it starts at the top. The
buck stops
you
with
may as
you.
well just say, he should sit there and say, "Look, I tried to do my job as best as I can, but we probably need some new leadership. I resign. Mayor, I've done the job as best as I thought we could. We need some new leadership. Resign." Because now, what you've done is kill a city.
I'll tell you. Do you know Karen Bass, the mayor of L.A., was on the short list for being a vice presidential candidate with Biden?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? We dodged a bullet in that one. As bad as Carmelo was, Karen Bass is a numbskull.
Well, okay. She's a numbskull.
Yeah.
Where's Kamala from?
California.
All right. And she's got numbskullitis, too. And now Biden's not from California, but he's Captain Numbskull. A lot of their leadership, this wokeism, I think people are realizing it's done. Even Mark Zuckerberg has sat there and said, you know what? All the men's rooms in our company that have tampon machines in them in there, get them out of there.
Well,
the thing
about
with the wind.
The thing about time will tell whether he's made a conversion or whether he's just trying to.
Wokeism comes back. Hey, put those tampon machines back in there. Why'd you take them out to begin with?
Exactly. Whose idea was that?
I could use one myself.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how long this goes for. Maybe it'll go for 4 years, and if the Democrats retrieve or get elected again, he'll make a conversion to the left again.
The one thing that happened yesterday was the world's biggest nothing cake. All right?
Yeah.
The Trump sentencing, number one, if they had all these evil crimes that they said, well, we'll do the conviction, but, unconditional release here. He doesn't have to serve any time, doesn't have to pay any penance, anything. He's just free to go. Well, then that means that whole crime thing was a sham. They just wanted to have the label to hang, and I don't think anybody gives a rat's ass. It was a waste of time, a waste of money, and over the course of time, now with the way things have unfolded,
listen,
that'll go away.
That was one of the most public trials you've ever seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
it was a joke.
Dare I say, 77 million people rendered a verdict on November 5th that they thought it was a lot of hooey, and they voted for Trump. So in Trump's mind, he's got to know, I don't care what this political stooge on this bench here says. I know the people are behind me, and I know what they really think. And that's a good thing. I do think, Bill, and I heard someone say this last night on one of the interview programs, if I were Marchand, if I were Bragg, if I were the leftist who encouraged and worked to use lawfare against this former president who was a private citizen, and they did it, by the way, for one. They did it so he wouldn't get elected, folks. Because look what happened. He got elected, and they figured, oh well, we'll let it go. No sentence, no nothing. Just let him out of the courtroom. Fine, he's guilty, but we're not going to charge him because he's going to be president. Their whole goal was to interrupt his progress towards the presidency. All right, that's what they wanted to do. It didn't work, but now they're saying the people who are talking about what's coming up, to prepare for not retribution, but for justice on the part of Trump and his people. You don't be surprised if the Justice Department under Pam Bondi starts looking into lawfare and corruption with this Judge Merchan and his daughter. His daughter raised millions of dollars based upon her father's participation in this case. There's a definite conflict of interest here. But that is something they're going to be looking into. There was a guy who was Assistant Attorney General. Assistant Attorney General. I can't think of his name. I'll think of it when the show's over because that's how it always works. He decided, when they decided to go after Trump, and by the way, Bragg initially balked at going after Trump, and it wasn't until, I guess, the Justice Department said, no, you have our full backing, we want you to do this, that he changed his mind and went after Trump. The second in command in the Justice Department, Assistant Attorney General, resigned from his job and took a lowly job as an assistant DA under Bragg so he could help to put the case together against Trump. Now, think about this for a second. That would be like a guy who is, he works his way up to being assistant chief of police, but then someone says, we need somebody who is going to run a precinct in the Bronx, I mean, okay, I'll quit my job as assistant New York PD, and I'll go be the chief of police. And it doesn't make sense. It's not a job path to go from the second in command in the Justice Department to the lowly assistant DA in the New York DA's office, if you know what I mean. There was only one intent, and that one intent was to crush Trump, And so it's gonna be messy, Bill. I would get a lawyer if I were those guys.
Yeah, I would too. But I gotta believe that there's so many messes out there. A lot of them intentional. LA, I can't say one way or the other, but I'm saying it's an opportunity for the left to let the distractions go and down the road get federal money, because federal money is going to have to go in to rebuild what's left there. I was just reading James Woods, he was worried about his place burning down, and somebody even said, it's only fair. His house, everything around it burned down. His survived. The miracle of the area.
Isn't that amazing? There's was that a sign? I don't know. He's a.
But then why did Mel's go? Because he's a good guy too. But there are things like that. I know in a hurricane one time, the whole causeway was wiped out, and the one restaurant that I like to go to, it was wiped out. All that was there was the tile from the floor and one table with all its
utensils,
tablecloth and settings. Everything were there, as if meticulously the winds came and they said, "Oh, leave that one alone. We want to show the miracle of God."
How many times have you seen
everything else was wiped out?
You've seen a tornado that goes through an area, and one side of the street is completely wiped out. The other side of the street is nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's amazing what goes on. And it's amazing that a lot of people haven't, but a lot of people haven't gotten themselves some Right Side coffee and some Right Side swag, and it's available at rightsideshop.com.
Yes, Jim and Bill's Right Side coffee. It's a medium blend roast and a medium blend decaf roast, too. And it's really delicious. We don't make all the profit ourselves. We're just two old schmucks. We don't go out and pick the beans and package it and stuff. We have people who do that. We get a little percentage of the profit. And, we opened the store, a month ago, Bill? It's been about a month
ago.
Yeah, and we're just now getting started, and a little bit of profits we do make from this stuff is going to go into promotion for the show. We're not getting rich doing this show. It's really sort of like it keeps us off the street, if you know what I mean. And
till a fire comes through, and then I'll be on the street.
That's true. But it's a fun thing. We're doing, for those of you who just found the program. We're into our fourth year. We started our fourth year on December 16th, and the little bit we haven't done any promotion at all. It's all been word of mouth, and we do about 4 million listeners a week, which is it's a lot of people, and we appreciate it. A lot of them around the world too, in England, Germany, which is wonderful. There are a lot of shows that have got more marketing behind them and more substance behind them, and they have a bigger audience, but you grow your audience by promotion, and that's where we want to take up our profits from our little gift shop and our coffee and put it back into promotion so we can start to tell the world that we're here and what we do on this program. And we also have to, we're not paying them now, but we're looking forward to someday, paying Juan, Jose, and the Border Crossers. Right now, they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart.
Really, they are.
And they're standing.
Nice guy.
They're standing right here, guys. If you would, marvelous. They do such a great job on that little tune. You were talking, Bill, a little while ago. By the way, to cap off what we were just talking about, that Trump verdict was a nothing burger. Thank God.
Yeah, and you know what? Even the left is not really talking about. I saw Joy Reid trying to do something. Well, what's going to come of this down the road? Joy, I've got a news flash for you. Nothing.
Yes. But see, they're devastated. She had to take a pay cut, MSNBC said, hey, Joy, that $3 million we've been paying you? We're not going to pay it. How about...
Well, let me ask you a question. Is she worth $3 million?
Oh, my God, no. Oh,
I hate to say it, but, some of these people, their egos are what demand the pay salary, and maybe we all ought to grow some ego, to get that kind of... This is ridiculous.
I wouldn't have... if she came in with her attitude and I programmed a talk station, I couldn't hire her. She's one-sided. She's bigoted. She doesn't seem like a happy person. Do you know? I don't know whether you know this or not, but I think conservatives are happier people. I really believe that. I think conservatives are happier people. They smile more. They seem to have a better attitude about life. A lot of those on the left they seem miserable. They seem unhappy. They're everything they talk about. That it seems like when you see the couples breaking up, the guy's a conservative and the wife is a liberal, and they get a divorce. It's because the wife just can't compromise. And even if the guy tries to compromise a little bit, they are. They're the ones who seem to be doing all the riotings when we have the riots, and fortunately,
life is a compromise.
It is. It's the total compromise.
Now, it's funny you mention that because, Trump is sitting there and he wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer comes out, actually, it's a good idea. The Democrats will back it if you back some of our bills.
No, Chuck, no, this is not a... We're not negotiating it here. It's he's going to get the Gulf of America no matter what. And by the way, Trump said it doesn't just benefit us. The Americas are all of the continent, North and South America, It's not.
You could say the Gulf of Americas if you wanted to.
Yeah.
That would be my compromise. Oh, you don't want a Gulf of America? Gulf of Americas. That cements the Americas.
We were talking about technology a little while ago, and you started to talk about this, and it's true. The Chinese Navy has revealed a naval artificial intelligence dreadnought.
Right.
This is kind of amazing. And the interesting thing, Bill, is once again, it looks like China stole our blueprints from somewhere and just expanded it.
Twofold. That ship is an American design.
Yes,
and the word dreadnought comes back from, way back when you have a super ship that is the terror of the sea that can take out things.
Right.
If you look at it, you go, that's a cool-looking ship, but how is that a dreadnought?
Well, it was introduced in 1908 by the British.
Yeah. But here's what this dreadnought has, and we have too. It's AI, artificial intelligence, and it's a piece of software. We talked about it about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
This software can target anything in the world and multiply by itself take out threats, launch attacks.
Yes.
And before you ever even know what's going on, so it can thwart 1,000 missiles coming in, no problem. It's done.
Well, not only that, but you don't have to. It doesn't have to carry food supplies.
Targets.
It doesn't have to carry food supplies.
No.
It doesn't have to carry things that are used to maintain life because there's no life on it. I would imagine maybe there's somebody on it. I don't know. Maybe they have a captain.
How did China get the plans to that ship? How did they get this software that's not even out to, I think it's barely out to buy stock in, a regarded secret? How did they get it?
Well, I know they have
during
friends,
the Biden administration.
They have friends in Washington. Joe's a tight friend with Xi Jinping.
Yeah, it amazes me. I mean, what they basically have, what we have. You know
what amazes me though? You heard the Russians say about a year ago, they bragged about their hypersonic missiles, and of course over here they were saying, well, we haven't got ours quite developed yet. That's BS. That is bull. We've got them. Trust me, they've tested them already. We've had some success with our tests. No, they've got them. It's just that our side is being more coy about it, whereas Russia's trying to say, hey, we got them too, and we can take you out just as quickly as you can take us out.
Well, they used to talk about nuclear bombs. You detonate them in the sky or in space, it sends an electromagnetic pulse down that can take out electronics and cripple a country.
Sure.
Well, who's to say, we have these energy weapons, these heat weapons. They're EMPs, electromagnetic pulses. So without the explosion in space, you've got something that can generate the energy and focus it like a well-aimed bullet.
Do you think we know where their missiles are? I think we have a good idea. I think we have a good idea where their missiles are at all time, even the mobile ones. I don't know how they do that, but there has to be some method they've figured out to be able to track their missiles. And
probably the signature of the plutonium or something like that. But I understand now there's a way to get around that. So I don't know that.
Well, what I was thinking, Bill,
all of ours are and all of theirs
you
are.
just mentioned the EMP, the electronic pulse weapons. And I'm thinking if they can target things, I think it's called the rods of God. It's referred to as the rods of God. If they have that device, they may make missiles obsolete. In that maybe our ultimate defense is satellites that can take out a missile site before it has time to launch.
Well, maybe the satellites have the capability of, electronically taking a society, a city, a continent down to the Stone Age by rendering every vehicle, unless it's protected, useless, taking out your electrical grid. If the electrical grid went out in a city, within days, there would be a lot of dead people, a good portion. And I forget, I saw the percentage once.
90%.
I mean, we would sit there and we would be like rats. We'd eat ourselves. We would just go into self-destruct mode.
That's why I don't know about you. I have a Faraday bag where I keep some, a spare cell phone and radios and things like that. You say, what is a Faraday bag? It's essentially it's a metal cage which disperses the electronic pulse so that the electronic devices that it's got inside the bag or the enclosure are protected. It disperses the magnetic pulse. It's something a lot of us should have, but a lot of us, we live in a very fantasy world kind of world. We go about our lives, and everything's great. I was thinking, I live in a house, Bill, that doesn't have a real fireplace. It has a gas fireplace, like a lot of new houses have. It looks like a fireplace. It has that glow and generates the heat like a fireplace. But in reality, it's being run by gas, natural gas, and which is great when everything's fine. But if you lose your utility, you haven't got a chimney. You haven't got anywhere to throw logs into the fireplace and heat your house. It was a mistake on, I think, my part. I think we should have built a house that had a real fireplace. But, hey, it was a few bucks cheaper, and it looked just like, and it warmed the room just like a real fireplace. These are the things that we've put ourselves into right now. We're living in the dead of winter. The other night where I live, it was 0. And I was thinking, my God, first of all, God, please be with the homeless people. May they find shelter, because these are the kind of nights where they have to freeze to death. No matter how much they're used to living outside, if they don't find a shelter, they're gone, because it was just devastating. But I was thinking, what would happen if we lost everything? What if we lost
that's true.
electricity? Lost what if we lost our gas? I don't know. I don't know how it would function.
Well, you're talking about the people in the cold. One thing you should do, Mel Gibson talked about having stuff, lots of stuff. Among that stuff is clothes that you have in drawers, might be sweaters. You don't wear them anymore, but you keep them. Well, you never know. You got coats, that are, 2 or 3 coats back, that you replaced it with another.
Well, mine, I keep saying I'll be thin enough to wear it again someday.
You know what? Just take it and donate it.
Yes,
and take it and give it to somebody that doesn't have. And right now, there are people that had great jobs, but they lost their home. They lost everything. And right now, a warm coat might be just the thing that they need. It might be a pair of secondhand shoes, but they were well maintained. They're clean, sterilized. They might be able to use a pair of shoes or something like that. So if you see something to donate, and you just go back and say, have I worn this in the past year? Nope. Have I worn it in the past 3 years? Nope. Stop right there. Don't keep asking the question. Box it up and donate it.
You know, the guy in the White House we have right now says they're going to pay 100% of the damages. They're going to cover everything. The government is.
Where, how? We're in debt.
Well, I was just going to say, first of all, he's making promises he can't keep. He's not going to be the guy in charge in 10 days or 9 days, all right? He's not going to be the boss. I would suggest when Trump gets in, one of the first things he does is he puts a moratorium on all foreign aid. We have a crisis on our home front, a moratorium on all foreign aid. We need to redirect those funds to the people in this devastated area to help get them back on their feet.
Going, oh, the humanity. We have to help everything. You know,
may I suggest that they kiss my gluteus maximus?
You have to help yourself before you can help anybody else. If your home front is in trouble, you fix it. And, you know, you just can't willy-nilly go and give away aid and money to everybody. Now, the only reason that we're really doing the Ukraine is because we're building the war machine and
wake up on the right side with Right Side Coffee.
From equipment going and getting blown up.
Yeah, that's true. I was wondering.
Right now, we can make money from construction.
I wonder if Trump's going to turn to Afghanistan and say, "Oh, by the way, guys, we pulled out of your country. You know, all that equipment we left behind, we weren't giving it to you. We just parked it there. We want it all back."
Yeah, well, they're going to say, "Yeah, here, we'll give it." They're not going to give it back, and just say, "Well, you know, that equipment
I love the
has
story.
a
Have you ever? Trump does this story where he says that he called one of the leaders of the Taliban, and he said, "I want you to do. You need to do this, 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 and this." And the guy said, "Well, I don't know why we should do that." And President Trump said, "Well, do you still live at whatever the street is?" And the guy said, "Yes." "And do you have a red door?" Or I'm paraphrasing his story. The guy says, "Well, why do you know this?" He says, "Suffice it to say that we know exactly where you live, and we know what we'll do if you don't do what we tell you to do." The guy did what Trump suggested. They haven't had a tough guy in government in 4 years.
You know, that was actually incorporated into a movie I watched maybe about 6 or 8 months ago, where there was an attack, and they actually had these little drones that were the size of a fly.
Yeah.
You know, and, there was this evil guy, and he goes, "Yeah, look out your window right now." That was
right.
it. It was done. You know, there is that capability. As far as that equipment goes, they're not going to give it back. I would just sit there and say, look, you know, each piece of equipment you have there has a target on it, and we have a missile designed for it.
Yes.
You want to give it back, or do we just go ahead and self-destruct it?
Yeah. We are going to, I would suggest you move all your personnel away from those vehicles because we're going to
park it on the runway because we can just take it all back in one fell swoop.
Do you know who's sitting on that? Do you know who's running that airport now, Bagram? You know who's there? The Chinese.
Yeah, China.
Unbelievable.
And if we attack that airport, even though we built it, that would be an act of war against China because it's their sovereign land now.
Yeah, unbelievable. Hey, listen, folks, that's about it. We could go on and on, but this is a weekend update program, which is a little normally short. I said to Bill, let's do 20, 25 minutes because it's only an update
program. And then you got
program.
Carried away again. Yeah. I was sitting there trying to...
Right.
Jim,
listen to this. Listen who's talking. This is the pot calling the kettle black, you know. Yeah, to you too. Hey, if you want to contact us, all you have to do is go to our website, which is itsanotherday.com. Itsanotherday.com. And you can send us an email and say hello or make a suggestion or maybe send us a recipe or what's, who knows. We got to get an address so they can all send us money, Bill. That would be a nice thing. We got to get an address that they can easily send cash to help our situation. What? You're thinking out loud.
Growing up and driving to work when I was a young man, I saw a billboard that sat there and it didn't say what the money was about. It was just send your donations today to this address. And people were sending in money, and I guess somebody after about 4 or 5 months said, well, who the hell is this for? And they investigated, and turned out it was just somebody with a post office box collecting the money. He goes, I never specified what it was for. It's for me.
That's true. Well, remember Soupy Sales in New York? Soupy Sales said he used to do a TV show, and Soupy said, hey, boys and girls, I want to help Soupy out. Are you in your mom and dad's room, or go over to the chest of drawers? Do you see their wallets? You know what a wallet is, right? Yeah, oh, yeah. Now, open it up, and you see that green paper in there? Take some of it out and send it to Soupy Sales, care of, and he started getting money sent to him.
Yeah, it was a joke, but it was, and he got in trouble for that, too.
Yes, he did. He did get in trouble, but it's a memorable promotion. People still talk about it to this day. It was an unintentional promotion, but people never forgot who did it. Soupy Sales. Anyway, I want to play one quick cut before.
Sure.
This is Biden. They asked him about pardons. Listen to what Biden said.
Also, sir, on pardons, have you ruled out a pardon for yourself or any other additional members of the family?
For myself?
Yes, sir.
What would I pardon myself for?
That's what I'm asking.
No.
I love that. Would you consider a pardon for any of the member of your family or yourself? For myself? Why would I pardon myself? Oh, Joe.
Well, you know what? Let him think that. Let him just go on thinking that. Who knows? Oh, Fetterman was in Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, no, actually, he wasn't in he's going to Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, well, he was trolled by some reporters.
And I got that, too. And listen to what he said. Listen.
Yeah.
Hey, Senator. Yeah. Can we ask you what you hope to get out of your visit to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Donald Trump?
Well, what are we talking about here? Is there some news?
There's some news. We hear that you're going to be heading down to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yes, I've heard that, yeah.
What will you be discussing with the president?
Well, yeah, I demand that I need to be made Pope of Greenland.
Do you have the resume to be Pope?
I'm having a conversation like he's the president, is going to be. So, I am not the senator for just Democrats in Pennsylvania. I'm everyone's senator in Pennsylvania. And so it's just having a conversation with
and that's basically it. And off he walked away, and that was John Fetterman, Democratic senator from Pennsylvania. He's turning out to be more of an interesting character than anyone ever dreamed he would be.
Well, he's funny. And now there was a story about Biden inadvertently admitting that Hunter committed crimes when a reporter did a gotcha question. I don't have it in front of me, but I know he did that. And then he's also giving amnesty or something for more illegal immigrants.
My
before
God!
Trump gets in.
This is awful.
This guy is, this is his get Trump week. Anything he can do to scorch the land, he is doing. They say he's helping out in California. I haven't seen him do one damn thing.
The headline, Bill, is Joe Biden extends protected status to hundreds of thousands of El Salvadorans to prevent deportation before Trump takes office. Unbelievable. This is a lot of gangs, folks. And by the way, the president of El Salvador already said, don't worry, President Trump, we're going to work with you. We'll bring him back.
Well, let me ask you this. Does Joe have all his cognitive abilities?
I didn't think he had them in 2020.
Okay, so could they sit there when Trump takes over, go ahead and declare the guy was incompetent? Just go ahead and admit it.
I would think in a honest and decent world, yes.
Because he stepped down for running for president to put Kamala in very quickly, and part of it was because of health or whatever. So that was an admission right then. So anything from at least that date forward that he's done should be illegitimate. He didn't do it as vice president. He did it as president, and he wasn't of right, sound mind and body.
Wouldn't that include a Hunter pardon?
Yeah. So that's a deal breaker. It's all done. It's over with.
Well,
That's in the mind of Bill Knight, and I don't know a damn
in the
thing.
corrupt and demented mind of one Bill Knight. Yes. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's program. Hopefully you have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. And we do this normally Monday through Friday with an occasional weekend update. Today was one of those occasions. Lots to talk about. And we'll pick it up where we left off on Monday right here on your favorite streaming site. By the way, I should point out there's some new sites or new software for some of the existing sites. That's what I wanted to say. Like iHeartRadio has this brand new software they came out with the first of the year, and it has presets on it. You know, like the old car radios where you used to be able to set, I want that station. I want to listen to that all the time. And you pull the button out and you pushed it back in, and all of a sudden you're locked in that station. So every time you got in your car, you'd press that button, and all that station that you like would be there.
Here's what you should do. Number one, get the app. Number two, since you're listening, make us one of the presets. The top one, as a matter of fact. Number three, we ask you to share our podcast. Go ahead and send a link to your friends of that app and recommend us.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
I think you summed that up nicely, Mr. Knight. You really did.
There you
go. You are to be applauded. Or flogged or something.
Not the latter, please.
Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I'm done. Hopefully, like I said, have a great remainder of your weekend. You can take us out of here with your tradition.
Hasta la vista, baby. We're out of here.
This is CRN America.